All right, welcome to this week's Points and Miles report on traveling on everyday spend. I hope everyone has had a great day today. Got a lot to talk about, obviously. We've got the overhaul of everything by United that we're going to delve into. We've got more information from Southwest we need to cover, as well as we'll obviously touch on build date to a certain extent. And we have a lot of information in the news, hotels opening, some different points and miles opportunities. So we're just going to jump right on into the information we've got today. And from the credit card offers ending soon, the big one is obviously Delta. Delta will be ending on April 2nd of next week. We've got all of the personal and all the business cards that are at elevated offers. We've talked about it before. I actually have a video that will be coming out tomorrow, kind of recapping on the personal side. I released it to the members of my membership this morning, hopefully to get some feedback, and hopefully that helped them. And of course, the advisory board membership is open. And if you're interested, I'll have a link for to join. And if it doesn't work out for you, if you find that it's not a best thing for you, then you can quit at any time, no questions asked. So in addition to Delta, we obviously still have the group of Hilton cards through the 29th of April. So there's a lot of time for that as well. And then for Bank of America, we still have those co-branded cards for the Alaska Airlines. And that companion fare obviously is a big deal because normally on the Alaska Airline credit cards, you need to have a $6,000 annual spend to be able to get access to that free benefit or that taxes and fees benefit. So that's there. And I think the other thing now, obviously we have Southwest that's ending shortly. We're going to talk about that. Obviously, there's going to be some benefits of that card, of those cards that are going to go away soon. And we do have a little bit of information of what may come of that. And so I'll look forward to telling you about that shortly. The IHG One Premier Business Card, obviously at 200,000 points, newest offer, but in two parts though. And so you definitely have to really think about if that last 60,000 points is worth it for that $9,000 worth of spend in the first 6 months. And then, of course, if you're just a Disney person, Chase has got you covered with both the Visa and the Premier Visa. Citi Advantage card, 75,000 miles, no annual fee that first year, always helps with these airline and hotel cards, especially the airline ones. And so that's what we have. Not too many new ones that we're looking at, but we do have a lot, the ones that we basically had last week. And then as far as transfer bonuses, we've got American Express with Qatar, we've got Chase with Marriott, as well as the Avios cards, for Aer Lingus, British Airways, and Iberia. We'll obviously be touching on that a bit with Bilt as far as their rent day promotion. Citi has Avianca through into April, and then Capital One still has that tiered system with Etihad. And I'll have actually a little note about Etihad as well as them in KLM and Air France that is about to go on with them as well. Now, as far as the points of miles opportunities, we obviously always have a bunch of those, but I always try to narrow that down to just the new ones as well as the ones that are about to end. So let's go ahead and get started with those. So we have Accor Limitless, and now this is up to the 25% off at the Fairmont Hotel, along with a free breakfast, 70 hotel locations worldwide. This has been going on for a while, but now we're getting to that end point where you do have to book by March 30th and complete your stay by May 31st. And then we also have a new one from Accor Limitless, and they have a 2X and a 3X one. Now this is in select countries, and I'll have a link for this because you do need to register for it, and you'll be able to see the countries that are available on it. If you stay at one of these hotels for 3 to 4 nights, you'll get 2X. And if you stay for 5 or more nights, you'll get 3X. Register and booking, you still have all the way till April 27th. It begins for stays beginning on March 31st, running through June 8th. Now, one thing that they recommend is if you're going to be speaking with a call center or customer service, utilize that reference code of 020566 to kind of help with bridging the gap, because as we've seen, there are so many different offers that ALL has that you need to be able to kind of help kind of bridge through this. You do get to use this 2 times during the promotion. And then the 4X promotion that they have is at new hotels. Registration's required. I'll, of course, have the link for that in the description. You do have to book before May 11th, and then you have to stay before September 7th. Now, this list of these new hotels refresh every 60 days. In another case of where they suggest that you specify the reference number for this promotion of 020214 when you are working with the call center or customer service. And then the next item that we're going to end up having is IHG's bonus is for 100% bonus when buying points. That's going to be ending on March 29th. So that is right around the corner. Now, of course, they do have these promotions a lot. So just because this might pass you by, you're not necessarily doing speculative buying of points. It's not necessary. They do have these promotions often, but if it is something you need to top off or you see a really good redemption, then this could be something that works out well. Hyatt has a new 777 promotion that I just saw today. You'll earn 777 bonus points per night up to 10 nights at select hotels. Now, they do have a list of what the select hotels are. I can tell you that ones that popped out were their Las Vegas ones, Venetian, Palazzo, as well as Rio. They also have a few different other ones, even in the Caribbean. But those are ones that just kind of quickly I noticed. I'll have a link for that landing page so that you can be able to identify those hotels and see if any of those work well. One plus is, if you were already going to do this, is both cash stays and award nights qualify for this. And then we have leading hotels of the world. This is up to a 100% bonus when purchasing points. Now, obviously, if you know anything about leading hotels of the world, a lot of boutique hotels, definitely not cheap, but and not a lot of points to go around. But if this is something that you might be already looking at doing and points could be a good redemption, then that may be something you want to look at. Marriott's up to 45% bonus is going to be ending March 30th, so that's right around the corner this weekend. Preferred hotels with the double I prefer points is going to be ending on March 31st, as well, as far as the deadline to register. So even if you might not know that you're going, you might want to at least register if there's any possibility. And that covers our items for there. Let me check on the comments. Welcome, Chad. Appreciate you stopping through. The World Traveler. Appreciate him stopping through. I see King Sam. Appreciate you stopping in, sir. John, first person. Always glad to see him. Call me Lonnie. Appreciate it. Happy Thursday to you, sir. As I always talk about all of these fellow creators, John does a great job. He's in the same position as I am, working our way to our first 1,000. Been really nailing down some of the activities with Hilton gift cards and all. Definitely check him out. Lonnie, just heard him give his expertise on United Airlines on a live stream with Joe. Really knows his stuff. Definitely check him out. And then, of course, we've got Chad with his perspectives. Really does gives a very good spin and his own thoughts of things. I'll have links for all of them in the description for you to be able to check out if you have not seen it, because you're definitely missing out. So let's go ahead and move on to some of the quick notes. And I do these quick notes just to kind of some quick things that I might see that doesn't require a full-blown kind of look at. We do have 3 rental car promotions, and I thought that was just interesting. So The first one is with Aeroplan. It's a points rebate where if you are spending 40,000 points on hotels or rental cars, you'll get a rebate of 10,000 points back. 100,000 points will get you 25,000 points back. And if you're an Aeroplan card holder, you'll be eligible for an additional 5,000 points. Now, registration is required. I'll, of course, have the link in the description for that. You need to book by April 13th, but you can complete this all the way till November 30th, and you can do this multiple times. The second item is with Flying Blue miles with Hertz rental. Now, regularly, you'll get 12 miles per euro, which is about $1.08, depending upon when, and up to 15% on the car rentals. So you'll get anywhere from 2,000 points or miles rather for a 3 or 4 day rental, all the way to 5,000 miles with an 11 to 28 day rental. Now, this is eligible worldwide except for 24/7 locations, which must admit, I didn't look at all of the guidelines for specificity on that, but you do have to use their offer page. You can't just book on Hertz. I'll have a link for that landing page for you to use if interested. And then we have Best Western, who's working with Avis. Regularly, you get 1,000 points per rental. This is going for 2,000 points for 3 to 5 day rental, 4,000 points for up to 25% discount for a 5+ day rental. This is for US and Canada locations, and you need to book and rent by March 31st, which is once again coming around the corner, using Avis's worldwide discount number, which I have there, as well as the coupon number. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you utilize those numbers. And then Priority Pass really had an interesting thing. Now, I've not had the opportunity to be at Bangkok's airport, but they actually have 9 Priority Pass lounges in Bangkok airport. But unfortunately, as of April 1st, 7 of those 9 will no longer be Priority Pass lounges, which caught everybody by surprise. The only 2 remaining lounges that are going to be there that will tie in with Priority Pass are ones with branding called Coral and Miracle. Now, the question is why? What ended up happening? Well, 1 Mile at a Time said that there was a rumor that the airport authority said that lounges could no longer participate under Priority Pass only through airline programs, which seemed very difficult to believe of why the airport authority would make that kind of requirement go on. But we don't know any specifics of why, but that's a big deal of closing that many lounges in one location, especially when they had 9. So if you do go through there, and let me know if you've been through Bangkok Airport, and I've heard, at least from what I've read, those Priority Pass lounges are very nice over there. So let me know if you've heard anything about it. Then we have no more fuel surcharges for Delta to Europe. Now, this was through Frequent Miler by way of Dan's deals that mentioned this, and that they saw that this normally adds on $150 to a one-way flight. Now, this no more fuel surcharges appears to apply to all cabins, but it is solely for the Delta airline metal, not the partners. So that would be something to look for. Hopefully that could be a savings that we continue to see, but that was what they had reported. Target, you obviously get this promotion every year. If you spend 50, you get 50. So Target is offering $50 rewards after a purchase of $50 or more when you open a Target Circle card. Now, this can be a credit, debit, or reloadable cards, all apply. Now, of course, the best thing to be able to do is not use the credit card. Get the debit card or the reloadable if you want. I normally have seen about people normally do the debit cards. Now, there is supposedly no expiration date on this, but there is lifetime language now that does apply. I know 1 to 2 years ago, people would run this game over and over again, and I'm sure Target lost a bunch of money, which led to the lifetime language. So if you've never done it, this may be something to just kind of pick up a quick $50. Lady Gaga pre-sale tickets. What does that have to do with points and miles? Well, it has to do with it because Citibank is a partner in it, so you can get pre-sale tickets for them by having a Citibank credit card as well as a debit card, which is a really nice promotion to not for you to not be required to have a credit card. Now, the general public starts at April 3rd at noon, but if you're a Citi card holder, the pre-sale begins March 31st at noon. Corporate card holders are not eligible under this. And you'll go under cityentertainment.com. It will link you into Ticketmaster. The pre-sale code you'll use is the first 6 digits of the card. So if you're interested in Gaga and you have a Citi card, that's something to look at. They also even have something if you end up applying for one of their cards and get approved, that they can get you an instant number for you to even be able to use for this. So just want to throw that out for people that might be interested. Lufthansa Allegris, which you might have heard of. This is the new redesign that Lufthansa is doing, which really ties to their new A350s, but they're going to retrofit other particular airplanes as well. But starting on March 30th, few of these A350s with the new Allegris layout will come to the United States. It will be they will have nonstop routes to Munich from Chicago, San Francisco, as well as San Diego. They do expect to add Charlotte in August. A couple of highlights of this Allegris layout is in first class, there's 3 seats. But they have a Suite Plus option, which gets you a double bed. Now, we've obviously normally heard about the double bed in the sky when it comes to the Middle Eastern airline, but this is an interesting one. Really looks like a nice layout. Business class actually which was 38 seats on the A350, actually has multiple seating formats. They even have one with an extra long bed. They have one with a baby bassinet that's part of the business pod, as well as the ones that we might be normally used to. So if that's something of interest and you're looking to fly to Munich, you might want to see what Lufthansa might have to offer. Delta Centennial trading cards. Now, many of you all may know that you can normally go to the pilot to be able to get a trading card. Normally, if you're a person that is a person that is really into airplanes or kids and such, they do get a lot of people that do ask for them. The Centennial trading cards just launched this week for its 100th anniversary. Now, the initial production is 5 million. They did have an interesting thing to say that last year pilots handed out 3 million cards, and you can only get it from the pilot. They don't give it to anyone else. Just make sure to ask if you can get on the flight deck to be able to see if you can get one of those trading cards, though. And then I talked about Etihad, and so Air France KLM and Etihad are ending their relationship. The code share partnership will end on March 29th, and the interline agreement, which is normally the starting point of most of these airline agreements, will end on April 15th. Now, this interline agreement goes all the way back to 2012, and in 2023, that's when they expanded their collaboration and even included reciprocity. It seems like it ended pretty badly, mainly because of how abrupt this is happening. And 2 is that you don't normally see the interline agreement go away because there's no real tie to the different parties for anything worth talking about by keeping the interline agreement. But if you were doing something between those 2, that is coming to an end. And then, of course, I thought this was interesting but not surprising. Air Canada, Delta, and United are reducing the US to Canada flights. Now, obviously, we won't get into the political aspect of it, but we know that there's a lot of issues with tariffs. What I was surprised by is how much it's affected it. So flights from Canada to the United States are down 70% for every month going forward between April and September compared to last year. And this is according to OAS, which is an analytics firm. And they pointed out just for April last year, 1.2 million were involved. It's currently looking at under 300,000 bookings. So obviously a lot of pain going around, and obviously in the travel industry as well. So, but those are the quick notes that we've got for today. And let's see what else we've got. Let's see. Yep. Lonnie is the United Savant. I definitely give him that. I'm going to try to do him somewhat proud as I try to talk about it too. 25% bonus for Aeroplan. I wonder what the base rates are. If it's 1 cent per point, then redemption is 1.25. It's a good point. I'm not necessarily sure of exactly how that's going to look. That's in Thailand. Slight chance I may visit with my friend. If you do, King Sam, definitely let us know how this is. Once again, just from reading in a couple of articles, it definitely seems like a very big deal. I got the father debit for the same offer last year. Yeah, you definitely have to do it. Unfortunately, you just can only do it once, so enjoy while you can, and because everybody loves Tarjay. So let's move to the Bilt rent day. Now, I sent out a notification as a reminder to everybody that gets notifications from me, just to remind that this morning was when they open up for the neighborhood dining, the neighborhood comedy, as well as the fitness aspect. So just as a reminder to people, and then of course to let my members know as well, to kind of give them a heads up as well. So most of us know how this works. We get double multipliers on Bilt on rent day, except for the rent. I personally I will do all 5 of my transactions on the first to use that up. Make sure you never leave points on the table. Get those 5 transactions in. And like I said, when it's going to be 2x for everything, you normally, in most cases, you're still going to come out as good as on any other credit card, and especially if you can get your travel and your dining at 4x and 6x. There still is that 1,000 bonus points that we have that unfortunately was reduced a while back. And then, of course, it starts at 12 a.m. on April 1st. So if you're already out doing some partying, if it's after midnight, you can go ahead and start and have a 6x point on your dining. The neighborhood cafe we've talked about. It was newly opened about a few months ago rather. You still can get a complimentary black coffee, hot or iced, and a surprise item. They didn't tell us what it is for this month. Like we saw last month, it was, I think, a cinnamon roll from Chloe, but show your membership in the app if you're going. Rent-free game show. They have Chris DiStefano, who's a comedian that's on that show. You do need to play by 3 p.m. on April 1st. It's a Family Feud style game. Top 10 players will be revealed at 4 p.m. and become rent winners up to $2,500. And then the next top 1,000 members will get extra Bilt reward points. That used to be 500, so they did at least double that up. I always want to remind people that you do have complimentary fitness add-ons when you're going to Y7 Studios, Soul Cycle, Cycle Bar. So if you're going to any of these places, even if it's not on a rent day, to make sure you take advantage of these different add-ons, from glove rentals to mat and towel rentals. So definitely be aware of what features are out there for you. And then, of course, the Soul Cycle we've always talked about. That's at 50 plus different Soul Cycle centers for a 45-minute ride, 10 complimentary bikes. That obviously started earlier today. The biggest thing to keep in mind with Soul Cycle as well as Berries is that now these classes cannot be canceled. If you no-show, you're going to lose $30. So obviously they probably had a lot of people reserve and then bail out at the last minute. Berries has expanded. That's the HIT fitness brand. They have expanded their classes from what we saw last month. Now it includes NoHo or Flatiron in New York City, DuPont Circle in DC, Denver, not Dever, and Fitty, that's in San Francisco. Complimentary post-workout shake afterwards as well. Now we also have the Avios transfer bonuses. So we've had the positive thing is we've seen this happen 3 straight months, I believe, when we were really having a dry part where we weren't getting transfer bonuses. 50% for the blue level, 60% for silver, 75% for gold, and 100% for platinum. Applies to transfers to British Airways, Iberia, and Aer Lingus. And of course, Avios is all over the place. So just because you transfer them to One of those three doesn't mean you can't transfer it out to a Qatar, for example, that also is working with Avios. Now, these transfers will be active from 12 a.m. on the 1st to 11:59 p.m. What's interesting, I had to make sure I checked it right. It begins at 12 a.m. It's the maximum time, 12 a.m. Eastern Time to 11:59 Pacific Time. Transfers can be done in increments of 1,000. Blue members are normally going to be at 2,000. Lift redemption bonus, 50% for blue and silver, 100% for gold and platinum. Now that's actually started yesterday at 9 a.m. and will run through April 1st. So if you've got a lot of points to spend and you want to have a place to spend them to, Lyft could be an option for you. Bilt neighborhood dining, we kind of see these at the same locations. They sell out very quickly, so I won't spend too much time on this. But Atlanta, Brooklyn, Cambridge, Massachusetts is a newer one. Charlotte, Dallas, Houston, Miami, Manhattan, as well as DC. Multiple restaurants at those locations. Supposed to be a very good experience. I unfortunately don't live near any of these locations, so I've not had the experience of neighborhood dining. But if you have, let me know in the comments section or in the chat. I'd be very curious of what you felt of how the experience was. And the Bilt neighborhood comedy thing has been very popular and has really taken off. They've got shows between Tuesday the 1st, starting in Manhattan, all the way till April 21st in Philadelphia. Each ticket comes with light bites, 2 complimentary drinks. Starts at 7 p.m. with the first hour being cocktail. $75 or 5,000 Bilt points is where it starts. This probably doesn't sell out on the same day. So if you see any locations here that are interesting, you may want to still take a look at it. There may be spots left. And so let me check out the comments to make sure of anything before we move on. And I see Sledge is in. Welcome, sir. Hopefully the travel's been safe and good for you. Always like seeing how he's working. And Bilt is just HOA fees and five small transactions, as long as I don't forget. Completely understand. As long as you're getting those 5 in, I'm still holding out hope that they're going to get this mortgage thing worked out by the end of the year. And hopefully with that revision to their payment system, we'll hopefully get closer to there for that. Have you heard anything on the 10X on the Lyft rides with the CSR? Is that ending in a few days? I will actually have to look at that. I had not seen anything about that either officially ending or that they renew. I will be a bit surprised if it does not get renewed, but I have not seen it, Rodrigo. So I will take a look on that after the show and make sure I'll put something in the pinned comment as soon as I find something for that. But thanks for the question. I do not know for sure about that one. And so now we'll move to the newly reopened Avianca Tap Portugal lounge that is in Miami. And as far as this lounge, this has been an Avianca lounge that closed way back in 2020. But now it is reopening as the first of its kind joint venture with Avianca and TAP Portugal. The lounge is just over 6,500 square feet, and it's in Concourse J across from Gate J6. The capacity is 337 guests, which is interesting because there are only seats for 158. So they perfectly are happy with a lot of standing room only. Features: quiet room, family room, rest area, business center. As far as access, first class and business class passengers with the same day departure ticket on a Star Alliance operated flight have free access. One guest is also entitled to free entry if they are also traveling on a Star Alliance operated flight. Now, if you have Star Alliance Gold status, you get free access if you're flying on a Star Alliance operated flight, regardless of class, and one guest is also allowed, but they must be on the same flight, not just a Star Alliance operated flight. And then Priority Pass actually has free access with a 3-hour maximum. So anytime I see that Priority Pass has free access along with this. That 158 seats are going to go very quick there in Miami. I look for it. That's why you're seeing a capacity of 337, because they're going to fill that lounge up really quick. And let's see. I see Vincent is on. He did a video live about how she uses reminders to keep track of credits and whether they are used. Perhaps that system might help you with Bilt transactions. It's a good suggestion, Vincent. I know that if you're not regularly trying to do that on the first, it's easy to forget, so every little bit helps. Ian, appreciate you stopping through, sir. And Yuri, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you coming through. So now let's talk about the La Premiere Suites. They are going through a bit of an overhaul, which is interesting at a time where for international, we don't see as much of the first class international. We really are seeing just a focus on international business. So, but Air France is not. But I thought it was interesting of some of the wording of who that target audience is. And one of the leadership with Air France said, we have clients who typically fly private, but they experience the La Premiere product and say, well, it's a lot cheaper to go to Los Angeles and Tokyo this way. So obviously dealing with a very high net worth person. So the La Premiere suites are in a 1-2-1 configuration, with the outer suites having 5 windows, which is crazy. So you get the La Pajama. These are cotton poplin loungewear designed by, I think it's pronounced Simone Porte Jacquemus. You get 2 4K 32-inch in-flight entertainment screens. On the ground, you have private check-in lobby to go through customs and security, a dedicated lounge with 3 private suites with double beds and patio, and of course you get to take the Porsche Cayenne on the tarmac to your place. Now, as far as being able to do this on points and miles, the normal straight way is if you have Flying Blue Platinum or Ultimate, you're looking at one way 200 to 250,000 Flying Blue miles, which is really high. So if you don't have that type of status, you can try to kind of shoehorn yourself in for that possibility, but you have to start with getting your business class on points and then request a paid upgrade a day or two prior if there is space. And so what you might be looking at is 80,000 points for the business plus $330 in the taxes and fees, and then around $3,000 for that upgrade if you can get it, versus a $12,000 normal flight. So not an easy thing to be able to do on points and miles, which obviously makes it very interesting if you ever want to do something that is very hard to do. But that is what we have for them. And then I really hit home with this story here that I was reading. So Newark Liberty International has a sensory room, and it's state-of-the-art. It's a state-of-the-art sensory room that's now in Terminal A, and it is post-security. Now, this project was was developed with the help of the Anderson Center for Autism, which is located in New York. The sensory room is 1,400 square feet and features an underwater theme. The room features blue walls with sea life projections, art features, interactive bubble tubes, and as well as a glowing fish tank. They even actually have a replica of an aircraft cabin where you can sit in a seat, put your seatbelt on, and actually look out the window to see a digital simulation of an in-flight view, all to kind of make different people feel more comfortable, which I really thought was something that I hadn't heard a whole lot about. Now, this room is part of the TSA CARES program, which helps travelers who need additional assistance. Now, they already had a pre-security room that was established in 2023, I believe, where now passengers will be able to move directly from that pre-security room to the post-security room via a dedicated screening lane. So I really for people that need that additional assistance, I thought that was really impressive. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey will also have another post-security sensory room at LaGuardia in Terminal C. And they're also going to be doing additional sensory rooms that will be built in the new terminals that are currently under construction at JFK. So I thought it was just a good thing to be able to see. So I wanted to kind of throw that out to you all. So we've been talking about Wyndham in this member month, and we have now moved to week 4. So what are we going to see? Well, we have 3 different things that are going on in week 4. The first one is the double points when booking a Wyndham travel bundle. Now, the bundle must include 1 night of lodging and another travel element, such as a car rental, could be a flight. This lasts until the end of member month, April 30th, and the travel packages must be completed by December 31st of 2025. They also are doing up to 50% on Carnival cruises. Now, this is when it is part of that Wyndham travel bundle. You must book by the April 30th again, and you have to sail by December 31st of 2025. The third part of this week 4 promotion is you save up to 35% and bonus points when you're using Avis rental car. Book a 3 or more day rental by April 30th and not complete by April 30th for up to 35% in savings and 2,000 bonus points. So the weeks that we've talked about prior, most of those are still going on. So definitely check the link that I have for member month. You'll be able to reacclimate yourself with the details of what Wyndham member month is offering, and hopefully that there is something there that will be there that you might be interested in. And as far as new hotel openings, I like to throw these out because obviously if you're doing points and miles, you always want to be able to see if there's a new hotel that might be opening that might be something that you want to be able to utilize your points and miles for. And so I've got one to talk about, but not the second one. So the first one is the Waldorf Astoria, and this is going to be in Texas Hill Country. It is set to open in 2027 and would be the first Waldorf Astoria in Texas. It will have 60 rooms and suites, along with 87 Waldorf Astoria residences. It will sit on over 100 acres in the Texas Hill Country wine region. It'll feature an 11,000 square foot spa and fitness center, as well as 2 resort style pools. But that won't be until 2027. But I found it interesting that that's the first Waldorf Astoria that would be in the entire state. The second one, unfortunately, has nothing to do with points and miles. I've actually never even heard of this brand, and I'm curious if you all have. They're not really here in the United States. This is their first one, actually. And so this is called One and Only. And the location, the name of it is One and Only Moonlight Basin. The first U.S. location, and it'll be in Big Sky, Montana. The nightly rates start at $1,950 a night. There is no points to be able to do this. Reservations are already being taken with an opening of November 18th. There'll be 73 guest rooms and suites, as well as 19 guest cabins, and the square footage is going to range from 700 square feet all the way to 3,400 square feet. And so in the winter, you'll have skiing and ice fishing, and in the non-winter season, you'll have horseback riding and golf. So a couple of interesting hotel openings to be able to look at. I find that very interesting as far as a $2,000 a night place at Big Sky. King Sam says better value than 1 million first class points first class on Emirates. And I see Yuri says Wyndham is now selling points for 0.72 cents per point for Diamond members. That can be a good deal. I definitely am for. I'm still very partial to Vacasa when it comes to Wyndham, but I'm also becoming at least willing to look at their all-inclusives as well. And I see Chad. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not. If you're finding any benefit with this information, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Chad. Really appreciate it. Yuri says he's not buying. So the next item is, okay, so now we're going to dig into United Airlines. So I won't rehash a bunch of things. I think we pretty much kind of know what's going on with United, at least on the surface. To me, this is an unprecedented overhaul of credit cards and lounge access all done at once. Obviously, Delta had a bit of their overhaul about a couple of year or two ago, but when they heard people even kind of pushing back, they had to kind of break it up a little bit. Not United, all in right now. This all comes down to the fact of United is not making enough money on these credit cards. I've just pulled a few numbers. They're not all tied in at the right date, but Delta is the behemoth when it comes to the revenue they make on co-branded credit cards. 6.8 billion is what they made in 2023 with Amex. American Airlines made 5.6 billion in 2024. Now that is including both Barclays as well as Citi, and obviously they are going to be ceasing their business with Barclays with the expectation that a more cohesive program of advertisement should escalate their number significantly from that 5.6 billion. But United is only at 3.49 billion as of in 2024. So there's a lot that they need to try to make up to make, that can help them significantly if they can even approach the numbers of American and Delta. So I think that's where the starting and the end of it. Now, as far as a quick summary of this, as you can imagine, whenever there's overhauls like this, it is you can already guess who's going to benefit the most. It is going to be the person that's spending the most or flying the most, not the person looking for getting in and out, not a loyalist. But I want to go ahead and touch on these cards and at least bring some things to your attention if you're not aware. So first is the United Gateway card. We didn't see a bunch of changes. And as far as multipliers, none of the multipliers really changed with any of these cards. But United Gateway, 30,000 bonus miles for $1,000 in the first 3 months. The biggest issue with this that's changed, though, is that a lot of people were getting the Gateway card to obtain and to get access to that special award pricing. That now goes away. It's going to require you to have $10,000 worth of spend to qualify for that special award pricing. So obviously it's a no annual fee card, so you can still look at keeping it for the time being. But if you're looking for a United card and you haven't gotten one yet, that one big thing for you for Gateway is now essentially gone, and it may not be the choice anymore, which was really unfortunate to see, especially on a card that had no annual fee. We have the United Explorer. Debut offer is 80,000 bonus miles after $3,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. Now, this is the highest bonus offer ever on that card. You can also get 5,000 additional miles if you add an authorized user within the first 3 months. Now, the annual fee went up 58% from $95 to $150, but the first year is still waived. We obviously have mentioned that the multipliers haven't changed. You still get the first check bag for free in the priority boarding. You get the 2 United Club one-time passes per year. You do have the global entry. You've got the statement credit if you're purchasing United operated flight purchases in club premium drinks. Now they have obviously implemented the over $400 worth of partner credits. Now we'll touch on these because we're going to see this pretty much be the same partners, just at some different amounts as we go along. The new item, $100 United travel credit after you spend $10,000 though, with $10,000 spent within the calendar year. You can get up to $60 in credits each year for the rideshare purchases paid with the United Explorer card. Fortunately, that is up to $5 each month, so that broken up, not the nicest way to be able to work with it. Then you can get up to $100 in credits annually on prepaid hotel stays purchased directly through renowned hotels and resorts, not with the Request card, but with the Explorer. The earning rate is now up to 5 miles per dollar for all this. This is their new portal that they are working with, and this is $250 prepaid reservation, on your first 2 prepaid reservations. So you don't get it all at once. They're doing a lot of that Amex kind of style thing. You can also get up to $50 in United travel credits annually when you book with Avis or Budget directly through their portal and pay with the Explorer card. Once again, $25 travel bank cash for each of the first 2 reservations. You don't get it all up front. Then you also have the JSX $100 credit annually if you purchase flights directly through them. If you're not familiar with JSX, it's what they would consider a hop-on jet service that flies between private terminals between the United States and Mexico. As far as locations, from what I've seen, New York, Florida, then you move immediately west to Texas, California, Mexico, I think Nevada, Denver, so a few places there. You'll have to determine how much that's going to fit for you. And then we have up to $120 in Instacart credits. Now that is, once again, $10 monthly of these credits, plus a complimentary Instacart Plus membership, and the membership would be through December 31st of 27. So what do we think of as far as the Explorer card? Still has a lot to be able to work with on that. Is even if you don't necessarily end up seeing where the partner bonuses or the partner credits come in, you still ended up getting that first year free to really be able to experience if this is what you're looking for. So I think that the Explorer is still a good option and can pay for it itself, especially if you're not a person that has TSA PreCheck or global entry with another one of your cards, or, as you know, they don't care who gets it as long as you charge it with the card. So even if it's a family, friend, or such, might be something to look at. Let's see. Yuri said, "Yeah, it's quite the show." I will agree with you on that. But you heard that the club Air F could still be paid, can still be paid with 30,000 miles. I do have something in regards to that, so we'll take a look. You have the Explorer, which with the annual fee I paid with 66,250 miles. Is that I guess is that still with the current, or was that with the elevated? I must admit I don't have one of the United Airline credit cards myself. Gateway was giving special availability, but only if you downgraded from another card. Thank you for pointing that out. I must admit I had heard mixed things about it. I thought it was originally you started with the Explorer, but then I heard a few people say they had it when they downgraded, but then I heard 1 or 2 people talk about that they had it right off the bat. So I appreciate you pointing that out. And Sledge says, Vincent, I feel like I need to start setting up reminders. It's more like a job than a hobby. And the $62.50 was on the old $95 fee. Appreciate it. So let's look at the United Quest card, which is the elevated mid-tier card after the United Explorer card. Now, the debut offer is 90,000 bonus miles, excuse me, and 500 PQPs after spending $4,000 in the first 3 months. Now, this is the highest bonus in over 3 years. This also will have the additional 5,000 miles for adding an authorized user, and the annual fee went up 40% from $250 to $350. Once again, we don't have any changes on the multipliers that we have. Now, the 10,000 mile discount award that you'll get issued each anniversary replaces the 2 5,000 mile discount awards. You still get the first and second checked bag for free for the primary cardholder as well as a companion. Now, they did improve the PQP earnings because now you can earn up to 18,000 PQPs with 1 PQP earned for every $20 spent on the card, and that doubles the original cap of 9,000. The PQP boost is new, where you're getting 1,000 PQPs each year. Now, they say that there are over $700 worth of partner credits to help you make up that 40% increase. So $200 for the travel credit after opening in each account anniversary, which you can use to book a future United or United Express operated flight. Now, this replaces the previous $125 credit. So you've already made $75 back on the increase. And then, of course, you've got spending thresholds. where if you're spending $20,000 in spend, you can get a 10,000-mile award flight discount. $40,000 worth of spend will get you 2 Global Economy Plus seats upgrade. So likely you'll be able to get enough value on this with the $100 increase, and you already have the $75 travel bank increase. So there's a lot to be able to still probably get mileage out of that card if you have it or were already considering it. Then we have the United Business Card, which has a debut offer of 125,000 bonus miles after $5,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. Now, this is the highest bonus in over 2 years. This annual fee is going from $99 to $150, which is a 52% increase. Now, there is potential to get a 5,000-mile Better Together bonus, as they call it, if you hold the business card as well as one of the United personal cards. As far as the additional changes, they're saying you get over $500 in partner credits. And for that, you're looking at the $50 credit on Fairlock. This is only specific to the business account. You get up to $50 back each anniversary a year to hold a price of a United flight for 3 to 14 days. So I didn't even know you could do that. It's a new thing for me. So I don't know if they've had it already or we're providing a credit to start, or if this already existed or didn't. So it's something I'm new to. So if you're a United flyer, let me know. Then, of course, we've got up to $200 on the hotel stays, $150 on the ride share, where they bump it from $12 per month to $18 in December. You'll get up to $100 in travel credits, once again, for that Avis budget car rental in two $50 pieces. And then to the JSX portion, and then $240 when it comes to the Instacart. And you'll get 2 $10 monthly installment credits to be able to reach that $240. So that's what we have on those so far. I see that Yuri saying Quest is the best of the bunch, but doesn't give any club passes. Otherwise, business is the best. Yeah, it definitely looks like if you are a flyer of United, then you are looking at the Quest card. The business ones, obviously, when we get into the lounge changes, obviously makes a huge difference, especially if you already had that card in your expectations. 2 Economy Plus upgrades is a joke. Yeah, for that kind of spend, I would completely agree with you. And so now let's move to the United Club. I will go right from the United Club on the personal side to the United Business Club right after there, because a lot of similarities between the two. So the debut offer on the personal side is 95,000 bonus miles with $5,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. This is the highest bonus in over 2 years. Once again, 5,000 miles if you add an authorized user, and the cost of business has gone from $525 to $695 for the annual fee. That is a 32% increase. As far as the United Club Business, and we'll move right to that, the debut offer is 125,000 bonus miles after spending $5,000 in the first 3 months. Now that is a best ever bonus for the United Club Business. Annual fee went from $450 to $695. That is a 54% increase. Now on each anniversary, you will also get 4 one-time passes when you have an employee card. First and second checked bags for the primary cardholder and the companion are applicable. This also has that Better Together 5,000-mile offer. So let's take a look at these club partner benefits, and then, of course, a couple of spending thresholds you have to keep in mind. So they say you get over $675 in value with personal, $725 for business. The only difference between these two on the club partner benefits is the Fairlock purchase, the $50 in credits that you get on the business that you don't get on the personal side. Every other club partner benefit is the exact same across the board. $200 for the hotel, $150 for the ride share, $100 for the rental cars. $200 for JSX, and $240 for the Instacart credits. Now, as far as what a spend will do for you, a $20,000 spend will get you a 10,000 mile award flight discount. That is for the personal side only. If you have $40,000 worth of spend, you'll get another 10,000 mile award flight discount on the personal side. On the business side, you'll get those, as Yuri talked about, very valuable 2 global economy plus seat upgrades. And then if you spend just a low amount of only $50,000, you will actually get the benefit of having all access membership with the club, United Club, and that applies to both personal and business, which then will obviously lead us into the United Club and what is happening as far as access. Let's see what's here. You no longer can get to other start. Exactly. That is definitely what we're going to touch on. That 50,000 is what's going to get you there. And I was considering upgrading to the club card. I guess it's going to be interesting as far as if you choose to do that. I guess as long as it's of what you were expecting on the lounges, and if it was a big deal for you of that change, which we're going to talk about now. So the United Club Access is going from membership based on status to only 2 memberships. So it's going to go from it's going to have the United Club individual membership, which is access for only the primary member with access only to United Clubs. The other version is United Club All Access membership, which will get you access to the United Clubs as well as Star Alliance lounges for the primary member and 2 guests. This is all going on as of May 1st. One-time passes can only access United Clubs for up to 3 hours. And this is an interesting thing as far as from my standpoint as a person that flies Delta a lot, is of how many other airlines did not really enforce a 3-hour restriction. Delta has, and so I'm always used to knowing that I'm going to be out of there in 3 hours. So it's interesting seeing the different dynamic of expectations of people depending upon what they're used to. So what it used to be is that if you were regular, Premier, Silver, or Premier Gold, you were basically paying $650 or 85,000 miles. If you had Premier Platinum, 680,000 or 80,000 miles. And if you were Premier 1K, it equaled $550 or 75,000 miles. Now, just that United Club Access is $750 or 94,000 miles. The All Access is $1,400 or 175,000 miles. And there's a slight reduction if you're Premier Platinum, Premier 1K, or Global Services. But all that pricing is now effective immediately. So I think the United thing is really interesting, and it will be interesting to see how this all plays out with United loyalists, of what they're willing to work with here. And I see Club Card 45,724, Quest 23,027, the Explorer 9868. And the Club Business 30,000. Thank you for sharing those numbers, Yuri. Really do appreciate it. And let's talk about Southwest. So we obviously know Southwest is going through its own overhaul at this point, and we continue to get some information as we get ready for the, I'll call it the unveiling of them becoming a quote-unquote mainstream airline. So we heard about the check bag policy, that obviously the 2 bags were going to go away, unless you are A-list preferred or have business select. Those 2 parties will still get the 2 free checked bags. You'll get 1 free checked bag if you're A-list, a Southwest cardholder, or what they are kind of using a placeholder of quote unquote other select customers. We don't know what other select customers mean right now. Now, we did get some more information about the baggage. So you'll get free checked bags will extend on for up to 8 additional passengers on the reservation. So that is a positive if you're on having multiple people on a reservation where the check bags apply. The baggage fees, we still don't know the exact number, but what they are saying is it will be in line with industry standards. Well, in line with industry standards essentially would mean anywhere from $35 to $40 for the first bag and $45 to $50 for the second bag. Now, the one crazy thing that they obviously did not build into their system is the baggage policy for companion pass companions. If the companion pass holder is eligible for 1 or 2 check bags, the companion is entitled to that no cost, but they are going to have to seek a refund for the cost. It doesn't appear that they have it built into their system where the companion of the companion pass holder can get that waived. You're going to have to seek a refund. So obviously not something that was planned too well. Then we have the early bird discount certificates and the A1 through A15 Southwest credit card benefit. We know that this is obviously going to go away with assigned seating, but it is likely there will be some type of seating benefit on at least one of the cards. And then after I was typing this out, I had saw from Southwest that they were going to be talking about using 9 boarding groups. Now, I mean, I'm a person that definitely does not like the cattle call, and I will be on one of those cattle calls in about 3 weeks, going to see our son, and it will be the Southwest cattle call, unfortunately. But 9 boarding groups is just way too many boarding groups. There will probably be such a bottleneck with that many boarding groups being dealt with, which tells you that one of those boarding groups are going to tie to those credit cards, at least one of them. Hopefully that they will take that away at some point soon, reduce that down. 9 is just too many. I'll be curious if you all have ever dealt with an airline that had that many boarding groups, regardless of the size of the airplane. Dynamic pricing, obviously this has already existed. The problem is that dynamic pricing that we're used to with Southwest is kind of limited, so to speak. It's something that you can kind of anticipate. Well, now we're going to see this vary much more wildly, depending more upon those flights. There'll be a lot more volatility. So you're definitely going to want to spend more time if you're flying Southwest to really determine the pricing. I definitely had to do that with mine, as far as flying to where my wife and I are going to see our son, of some of that volatility that I'm already seeing more so than what I've seen in the past. So if you're a Southwest flyer, just be prepared and plan appropriately. What I will say, though, is we've got 2 airlines that are really trying to jump in to take advantage of taking the top tier flyers from Southwest. American Airlines has actually increased their match status. So it used to be for A-list, you would get gold, but now they've moved it up temporarily to Advantage Platinum. And the A-list preferred would normally get the Platinum, but now you're getting Platinum Pro. Now you do need to apply by June 30th to do the status match. I'll of course have a link in the description. You will have 4 months to meet a loyalty point goal. And if you do this 3 consecutive times, you will qualify for status for the rest of the membership year. I thought that sounded kind of okay. It seemed like a lot of gyrations to do for a match versus let me match one time in the first 4 months, and why do I have to keep meeting it as I go along? But that's what American does. Delta had an interesting aspect, though. A-list would be gold medallion. A-list preferred is platinum medallion. The status lasts for 90 days. And if you gain the required level of MQDs during the 90-day period, you get to keep status all the way to January 31st of 2027. So 90 days to get your thing in, and you get it through January 31st of 27. No extra gyrations that American Airlines was doing. More importantly, it appears that if you wanted to get status, with this, and you end up getting one of the Delta personal or business platinum or reserve cards that provide you that MQD boost, that will either meet or nearly meet your requirement, and you can utilize those. I've read that at a couple places. I've not read it in the terms and conditions though, so it's still something that I'm saying it appears. Not that I can say for sure. I've not seen it specifically to know for sure, but I've seen different people reference it, and I've not seen where it doesn't work that way. So all of those very interesting points. And I definitely want, like, to remind you all, I'll have the Delta video out tomorrow that hopefully can help kind of get through some of the information. And then I'll be coming out quickly with the videos on United, as well as Marriott, Hilton, all of the ones that are kind of going through the big numbers right now. But I want to make sure if there is anything else that we need to talk about tonight, anything that we need to touch on, or anything that may need to get clarified, I want to give everybody a chance to be able to kind of touch on that before we close up. Really appreciate the participation, really appreciate the insight and the sharing of information. Cannot thank you all enough. But if there's not anything, thank you all so much for tonight. I look forward to seeing you next Thursday. And once again, if you're interested in joining the advisory board, I'll have a link for that in the description. You can obviously, if it doesn't work for you, you can cut out at any time. If you're not subscribed, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it, as well as thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Have a great day.